Let me preface this rant by saying I may just be the biggest moron on the planet and that I just don't get it and I'm wrong and what follows might be completely uncalled for. I oscillated between posting and not posting this shit because contrary to popular belief, I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer. This channel is not here to rant and be overly negative about everything and view everything from that lens. That said, this channel is here to voice my genuine, unfiltered thoughts, right, wrong, half-baked or biased though they may be. So I gotta get this off my chest. I don't know why, ever since they announced the Legacy Collection thing, I've been under the impression that this is a remaster pack. I know, fucking idiot, right? I didn't even look at the textures, I just assumed they'd be remastering all these games, but no, they're just re-releasing them, bundled together as a compilation, a best-of singles. Why? Who is this for? Mugans already exist, emulators exist, CRT filters exist. People can play these games if they really want to. Yeah, but not on console. Everyone has a freaking potato PC, don't give me that. Sure, it's nice to draw some attention to these games, but don't fool yourselves. This is not for the fans' benefit. This is for the company's benefit, to see if they can milk some extra money on the side with these decades-old products. This is the age of remakes and remasters. Everyone and their dog is doing a remaster. WB couldn't even finance that. What the fuck? What kind of sham is this? And people are excited for this? Again, I don't want to be negative, but I can't help but chuckle. How pathetic have we become as gamers to get excited for pre-orders, early access, half-baked, buggy, unfinished products, and overpriced compilations? This shit's $50.
I don't even want to see myself that much.
For what? It should have been a remaster. Some of these should have been remakesters, a cross between a remake and a remaster like D2 Resurrected. Is that a lot of money invested? Yes. But what the hell else do you do with these franchises? They're old souls. They've been limping on for decades. If you're gonna revisit the old, you have to revitalize the old. Rejuvenate it, inject some life into it, not pick up some pebbles from the ground I could have picked up myself and give them to me but charge me a fee for it. If you have these old brands, it's worth investing in them. And you have others that did it before you, like the aforementioned D2R, and it was a success, so you have all the assurance in the world. When Valve announced Half-Life Source, everyone got excited. The old-ass busted Half-Life 1 but in the Half-Life 2 engine? Yes, please. Then they released it and it looks the fucking same because it's just a copy-paste of all the old assets. The game engine change in itself doesn't mean anything. And people were underwhelmed, as well they should have been. That's the appropriate reaction to have. In fact, people were so underwhelmed that a group of them decided to do their own release of Half-Life, which would be a legit proper remake with new assets and everything, and after endless blood, sweat, and tears and getting juggled between 3 game studios, it finally got released 15 years later. So the lesson here is abandon your dreams, you'll be old and decrepit before you see them realized. But that was Valve, a company that up to that point held itself to a certain standard and got its fan base used to a high bar of quality, so naturally, when they released this inbred little consquirt, they were called out for it immediately. But over in Mortal Kombat land, we don't do that. This is a 5-star restaurant where the sous chef presents us with a bone with some cartilage hanging off it and a topping of dog drool, and we note how ingeniously avant-garde the dish is, get excited, swallow the thing whole, then reflect on how that might not have been such a good idea. Until the second course comes along and the cycle repeats itself. Remastering a 2D game with digitized actors as seen in the original Mortal Kombat titles can be incredibly complex and might require significant changes to how the games are presented, which goes against the preservation aspect. I get that. I mean, the last part's bullshit. Goes against the preservation aspect. Making a thing clearer to see detracts from the preservation process. It is the preservation process. If it hampers the preservation process, why do we all listen to digital music instead of fucking about with vinyl and recording with analog gear that degrades and goes bad? Because digital doesn't go bad and it preserves the music indefinitely. Anyway, I get that it's incredibly complex, but then again I have to wonder why announce something like this if you're gonna half-ass it. You can definitely make the argument that even though the aforementioned Half-Life looks like rectangular vomit, smoothing out the vomit makes the thing lose its charm. A buddy of mine recently told me that the only reason Half-Life scared him as a kid was because the graphics were so damn primitive and repulsive, and that kinda stuck with me. In fact, that's one of the criticisms leveled at the 15-year in the making, half my extended family died before I finished making it Half-Life remake, the fact that much of the game's unique identity was lost in the process and the final product ended up looking, sounding, and feeling somewhat generic by comparison. But that was because they gutted out too many asses that didn't need to be removed, like the iconic sounds that hold up well to this day and have a ton of personality. We're strictly talking about the jank and the technologically limited filth plaguing a game. Let me put it another way. If preserving the jank was so goddamn important, then Valve would have gone out of their way to make sure Half-Life 2 looked just as rectangular and pixelated as Half-Life 1. They didn't. A lot of this stems from my inability to understand consoles. Everyone has a PC, yes, but not a high-performance PC. No, of course not. You don't have a high-performance PC because you chose to invest in a mid-performance console instead, so that you can then be swindled into buying the next generation of consoles when they come out, which is already more money than you would have paid on a decent PC rig that would have outlived both generations of consoles. Well fucking played. The console exclusives. I will not be bullied into buying a console for a couple exclusive titles, that's first of all. Second, the age of exclusives is dead. More and more games are being offered up for everyone to experience, and it'll only get worse for those that still hang on to this antiquated barbaric sales funnel. Consoles have always been the smartwatch of the games industry. It's one extra device that you don't need that does the same thing your other devices do, except it's more finicky and is overpriced. You can now check your notifications on your watch instead of your phone, which is the exact same motion. You can look at your watch to know that you need to look at your phone to read a message you just got. Or you could just read it on your phone to begin with. No thanks, I'll just stubbornly squint and read it on this tiny screen. Now I can play games on this entirely new dedicated device that's otherwise useless, and that gives you poorer performance, generally less frame rate. However, the games are better optimized, chuckle, but at least now you're at the mercy of people like us and have to depend on us releasing your favorite old games on your specific console at whatever price we wish. And then cry. Now look, is it nice to have all these games backwards compatible, all in one place, available on your console of choice? Yes. Are the multiplayer and rollback netcode nice? Yes. Is it worth $50? Is it gonna help you relive your childhood? Well, for me, no. If you have a lot of disposable income, obviously yes. In which case, why the fuck are you watching this video? Get out! You high-income, hard-working, helpful, contributing member of society that's earned the right to spend their disposable income on whatever they wish. You disgust me. Obviously, this collection is for someone, but any high-price, low-effort product is for someone. There will always be a market of high-income individuals to buy a thing simply because they can. That doesn't mean anything. It's not an indication of worth. To be mercilessly fair, if Need for Speed Porsche was finally re-released, fully compatible with modern systems, such that I no longer have to jump through a dozen hoops on fire just to make the original work, I'd inhale that shit faster than a chain smoker can inhale lung cancer, even if it was $80 dollars. Or just pirate it. So far be it from me to be a hypocrite. If you're that into, like, Mortal Kombat 2, or the universally hated Special Forces that you were secretly the one fan of that they could never find and kill, then by all means inhale away. I understand it, I support it, who am I to get in the way of true love? But there's still a part of me that can't help but go, wait a minute. These could have been remasters. At least a couple could have been remastered, and maybe one game could have been a remakester. How cool would that be? And indeed, if Porsche re-released and it wasn't also remastered, I'd shit on them too. Every single one of them. There's just something cynical about taking a game that's already out there, that's so old you can see and count the individual pixels, handing it to players and going, that'll be $49.99. It screams cash grab. It screams low effort. Let's see if we can rinse out some more money from these asshats before we move on to Cunt Superman Part 3 and leave this franchise in the gutter. Oh, and before you think it, this is not me hating on NRS and Mortal Kombat specifically. Street Fighter had its own collection release and I don't understand that one either. I'm just confused about the concept. If I am wrong, I am happy. Please educate me in the comments below. I mean that. If you're buying this, why are you buying it? Give me reasons, I want to learn. Hey, at the very least I get to play Deception without having to use an emulator. Special thanks to Sir Hrishin and Longthorn Henderson, as well as my other members for supporting the channel.